Alright guys, we're letting this dry out a little bit. Got it all sanded down, it's looking pretty good. Got our blend panels prepped, door and fender. I'm gonna go ahead and blend it so we don't have any problems. And we'll get this in after lunch. And yeah, get some paint on that. I worked on the Cougar a little this morning, and man, all this came out of the quarter panel. You can see this stuff is pretty rough. Pretty bad. For some real sins. All the sheet metal was up in there, and this is what I got now. I cut that open. I'm gonna have to spray some Ospo up in there. It's very rusted, and stop some of that. We're gonna have to make an inner wheelhouse there, or an outer wheelhouse, so we can attach our new quarter pieces to it. And I cut it right on the line. And we'll make our lip come down and then give it a 90 to attach to the outer wheelhouse. I need to get in here a little more and strip some more of this Bondo and sheet metal. They got Bondo on sheet metal, and they stuck it to the inner wheel well there, and it's a mess. So this is the most challenging side for sure. Almost got the roof finished up. Got a little more spot there to finish up. Got to take some emblems off and pull this back glass out, and I think we'll start some etch priming and get it in some epoxy. I want to say that I got some awesome people that watch my videos. You know, I never discourage people from leaving a comment, especially if it's constructive. And guys don't miss too much. I mean, some of the guys that watch my videos are pretty into the videos, I guess, because I made a little bit of a mistake on the 1600 build, and I didn't edit it in, you know, going back and fixing it. But one of my viewers caught it, and I'm going to point it out to you guys because he's 100% correct. If this does happen, you need to reset. So here's what happened. If you look at the 20 mark, when I was putting the case halves together on this motor, I had put too much oil on the case half that I was building on the stool over here, not the half that was in the stand. And when I went to lay it on top of the case, it dumped oil all on the seam right here on the bottom half of this case. The oil came out of this side of the case and spilt onto my the lip on the case there. Now, if I wouldn't have taken it back apart, I turned the camera off, took it back apart, cleaned all that oil off, and had to reseal it. If I wouldn't have done that, it would have had a serious oil leak there, because this RVT isn't impervious to oil. So you got to have a clean surface when you lay it down. And one of the guys that was watching the videos caught that, and that's pretty awesome, man. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for looking at the videos that close. And don't ever be scared to leave a comment like that, because you know, you saw something that was wrong and you just pointed it out, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I did correct the problem, but thanks for noticing it. So yeah, so pretty nice day here today. Partly cloudy. I guess it's gonna rain. I'm getting used to the rain every day now lately. So I need to get out on the boat, but it rains every afternoon, so I haven't had a chance to put that in the water yet. Still need to get some tags and stuff for it too. But yeah, so I just wanted to make that video and say thank you for noticing that kind of stuff. You know, that doesn't bother me that you guys notice stuff like that. You know, everybody makes mistakes, and my mistake was I put too much oil on that case half when I had it sitting over here, and when I went to drop it onto this other case, it dumped all the oil onto the front half of the case. So I did stop and fix that. I have to apologize. The editing wasn't that good in that last video. Hans was in sort of a hurry to get to New Orleans, so I didn't show me fixing that particular screw up. But we did address it. So that's where we're at on this one. I still got my heads. I got the heads right here. They're pretty decent. They came out pretty clean. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the glass beater and glass bead these up, and we'll go ahead and cut the valve seats on these, do a little valve job to these babies, and get this thing finished up. We got our piston cylinders ready to go over there on the bench, and once we get the heads done, we can go ahead and call it done. These have had the exhaust guides replaced, and both of them, all 4 guides have been replaced, and it looks like it's had a seat put in on that exhaust over there. So they're not in too bad a shape, no big cracks, and it's a matching set of heads, so it'll be a decent little motor. We'll probably, like I said, we'll pop this in the car and break it in and put it up for sale probably. So see how that goes. So anyway, so there we go. Morning vlog, whatever you want to call it. Try to get you some more videos when we get this inside. We'll tape this up and get some paint on this and roll it down the road. So that's where we're at, and not a whole lot going on. So still waiting on Cougar parts. Don't think I'm going to find anything. Checking into some quarter panels in Canada. I really would like to get a panel for this side, and some patch panels for the other side would be fine, but this side's pretty rough. So I'm going to go ahead and spray this down with some OSPO and all in those inner panels there, and let that stuff do its magic for a day or two, and then we'll go from there. It'll turn all that rust black. So I did have somebody email me about POR 15, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll get the thumbs down on this one. But they were telling me that it was a good rust, it kills rust really good, and POR 15 doesn't kill rust at all. It's a non-catalyzed product that's dried by the oxygen in the air, and I don't use non-catalyzed products. Everything I use is usually 2K, you know, meaning 2K means there's a component that you're using, and then there's a hardener that you put into it, because that POR 15, all it does is lay on top of the rust, and their premise is it seals the oxygen from the metal so it can't rust. But the rust does continue. I've seen many Volkswagen floorboards where people paint the floors, and that POR 15 will be you know, hanging in there, and then you break it apart and there's no floor left in the center of it. Here's some POR 15 on my bus. You can see it didn't stick very well in here. It's coming all up everywhere that I put it down. You know, it's unless I painted it over a real rough ass surface, it didn't want to have any adhesion. So that's all POR 15 over there peeling off. And I used to use it quite a bit. I'd paint the inner panels and stuff with it because I like the idea of it, and I started having it fail on me, so I stopped using it. I've had a couple other guys share their experience with it too, and similar experiences. I know when I worked at Volkswagen, Larry Bishop, that he owns the dealership over here, Aristocrat Volkswagen. They've got 2 dealerships here in my area. And he was one of the first guys that got in on the POR 15 bandwagon in Florida. He was one of the first distributors. Go check the history of the POR 15 company. We had Diamond in our body shop at the time, which is probably the best paint there is, RM Diamond. You know, if you don't have any budget constraints, they make some really good products, to say the least. And you know, there's a procedure that you follow when you do this kind of work. You know, it's usually etch prime, epoxy prime, 2K prime it, and you know, you do your body work over the epoxy, then you prime the car, and then you paint it. You know, it's pretty much been that way for a while. And we were doing some old Mercedes in the dealership there for the owner, and we stripped one to metal, and he convinced himself that he was going to use the POR 15 products on his car rather than the Diamond stuff, because he thought that it would be superior. Well, we stripped that Mercedes, had it media blasted down to steel, and then we put the clear POR 15 down to encapsulate the steel while we were working on the car. And you know, those restoration projects can take a while. I think the car was there for a couple years, and at about a year and a half, the POR 15 cracked and started sheeting off the steel. So has no UV protection whatsoever. So if it's introduced to the sunlight, it's an instant fail. And there's no chemical in there that inhibits rust. So I challenge you guys to go ahead and get the breakdown on the chemicals in the POR15. If you find anything that stops rust, let me know. I'd be interested to hear. So that's what's going on here. We're gonna go get some lunch. You got the kids, it's summertime. They get hungry about noontime. You hungry?
Yes, Mom wants to know if you want to talk about, we can talk about what you want.
Taco Bell, man, that guy's licking the shells there, tell her. Grant Cardone says, don't eat at Taco Bell. The guy's licking the shells. All right, guys, we gotta go. We got a serious lunch debate here.